Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to be reading a book. It's called A Granny's Heart. And the reason I chose this book was today we're going to be looking at the pictures in a book and seeing if the words match up with the pictures. This is checking our accuracy and making sure that the pictures match up with what the words actually say. This is illustrated by Paul Reitz, and it is written by Melissa Henderson. And it's got some really cool illustrations. So as I'm going through the book, I'm going to read the page, and then we're going to look at the pictures to make sure that the pictures line up with what the words were saying. So again, it's called A Granny's Heart. Grannies may seem so different at very first look. Yours might skate, ski, or sled, or fish with a worm and a hook. I'll give you a minute to look at the pictures. Boys and girls, what do you notice about the pictures? What I noticed was that there's a granny here, and she seems to be fishing, like ice fishing. And it looks like it's very cold outside, and other people are outside skating. Let's see if she's even got some skates on there. And people are sledding. And what we just read was that grannies may seem so different at very first look. She looks a little different maybe than your granny at home. Yours might skate, ski, or sled, or fish with a worm and a hook. We see that this granny is fishing with a hook and a worm. And we also see some other grannies skating, like it said back here, skiing, or sledding. So we can see that with this picture, they match up with what we just read. Some grannies have lots of wrinkles. Others have none at all. Some are squishy, some are strong, and some are very, very tall. So let's look at the pictures again. So we read that some grannies have wrinkles, and some are squishy, and some are strong, and some are very, very tall. So let's see if any of the pictures match up with any of those adjectives that describe grannies. I think this granny might be very tall. What do you think? The reason I think this granny may be very tall and maybe even very strong is because it looks like there's 3 other grannies that equal up to her. Some grannies have false teeth. Others have purple permed hair. Some grannies have puffy ankles. Others eat prunes and are shaped like a pear. So let's look at the pictures. So it said back in here that some grannies have false teeth and some have purple permed hair. This granny looks like she may be holding up some false teeth here. And she definitely looks like she has some purple permed hair. What are some other things that I just read that you noticed that are in the pictures? Do the words match up with the pictures? She might be a teacher, a homemaker, lawyer, farmer, or nurse. Above all, she's a granny for better or for worse. Let's look at the pictures. So we're going to go back and see what we just read. A teacher, a homemaker, lawyer, farmer, or nurse is what a granny might be. So we're going to look at the pictures and see if the pictures might match up with what we just read. It looks like this granny is a nurse. And it looks like this granny may be a teacher. And the reason we think that is why. Why do we think this granny is a teacher? I think this granny is a teacher because it looks like she's grading something. It looks like it has an F on it. That's not very good. One thing about a granny remains always true. Her heart loves each grandbaby, and that baby is you. So, can we find a grandbaby in the picture? I think I spot a grandbaby right here. And I think this is the granny. And she looks like she's enjoying herself. Maybe even that she loves her grandbaby. A granny loves when her grandbabies come to visit her home, whether in London or Dallas, Delhi or Boston, Sydney, St. Petersburg, Tokyo or Rome. So, maybe you guys haven't been to many of those places before, and maybe you haven't even heard of some of those places. But we can go back and see that this is talking about coming to visit her home, regardless of where she lives. So she may live in different places, but it may still be her home. So the text, or what was written in the book, was talking about where Granny may live. Your granny may not live there, but she loves when you guys come and visit. I'm sure your grandma does too. A granny will drive, bike, or fly to see each grandbaby, far or near. She will often bring heartfelt gifts to show she loves her babies dear. Let's look at the pictures. We can see on here that it looks like Granny may be in the air. Why would I think that it looks like Granny may be in the air? Maybe it's because it looks right here like she's in a hot air balloon. And it looks right here like she's maybe in a plane. And it was just talking about how Granny will drive, bike, or fly to see each grandbaby far or near. So which one of those words connects with the pictures? I think it's fly. She might bring you zip-up pajamas until you're 21. She might give you wet kisses and big bear hugs just for fun. So let's look at the pictures. These look like zip-up pajamas. What do you think? What is this granny doing? That's right, she's giving a big bear hug. And didn't we see that it said something about that when we just read it? So again, we're connecting with what it says to the pictures. We see that this is accurate and they match up. She might knit you some mittens or tackle you to tickle, read you a book, take you to the park, or chase you with the homemade pickle. My grandma never chased me with the homemade pickle, but maybe this granny likes doing that. Let's look at the pictures. What is the granny holding in the picture? It looks like the granny is holding a jar of pickles and a big pickle right here. And we just read that she may chase you with a homemade pickle. So it looks like what, boys and girls? That's right, that the picture matches up with what it says that we just read. So the picture and the words that go along with the picture that we just read are accurate. She might write you sweet letters or sing your favorite song. She might play games like hopscotch in hopes you'll play along. We can see that from looking at these pictures, it looks like Granny may be playing hopscotch. A couple of grannies may be playing hopscotch. And we just read that, so we know that our reading is accurate with the pictures. Matches up. She might make cookies or candy, bread knots or stew. All are tender acts to show her heart's true love for you. That's really nice of Granny to make it cookies. Everybody likes cookies. So let's look at the picture. We just read that she might make you cookies or candy, bread knots or stew. And in this picture, we can see if we look really, really close that it looks like there's some cookies on that table and maybe even some bread knots. And it looks as if over here she may be making some stew. So we see that the pictures match up with what we just read. Deep inside of Granny's heart, God has written your name. Good or bad in all you do, she will love you just the same. Let's look at the pictures. It looks like Granny really loves her grandbaby. Grannies pray for their grandbabies every day and night. A granny will always care for you with her heart's full strength and might. Let's look at the pictures. And we can see that it says, Grannies pray for the grandbabies every day and night. And we can tell from outside, what does it look like? Does it look like day or night, boys and girls? It looks like night to me. And how do we know it's night? Because the sky is dark. And it looks as if Granny may be praying. So do the pictures match up with the words that we just read? I think so too. A granny's heart grows with every child added to her family tree. Her lap may get overcrowded, but a granny's heart will never be. And it looks like Granny has a lot of grandbabies in this picture. They're all sitting on her lap. And didn't we just talk about her having a lot of families? And how her lap may get overcrowded. It looks a little overcrowded in this picture, right? But her heart will never be. And that is the end. So as we can see, boys and girls, from this book that we just read, all of the illustrations, pretty much for the most part, on each page related back to what we read on that page. It's important that when we're reading a book, that we note these connections and we check to see if the pictures match what the text is actually saying or what it's reading. That's it for today.